Hello everyone, I would like to welcome you to the Center for Healthy Communities YouTube channel. We are going to start with our series of putting a lid on COVID-19. Today's topic is dealing with depression, anxiety, and stress at home with Keith Engber. He is 49 years old and has been living with major depressive disorder since his early teens. Keith worked on various fields until his eventual breakdown in 2012. He took hold of resources he was offered and changed his career to mental health. He is now a certified peer support specialist and program coordinator for RI International Contact for Change, Mental Health Stigma Reduction Program. He also serves on the board for NAMI Coachella Valley and is a facilitator for support groups. We would like to welcome Keith, and let's get started with question number 1. COVID has had many negative effects that have disrupted our lifestyle routines. Would you agree that anxiety about the COVID-19 outbreak and disruption of our daily routines can be overwhelming, stressful for both adults and children?
It sure can. With some parents being out of work, whether it be small business owners, as my wife is, on furlough, being let go, for sure, along with needing to possibly earn money and create other income, it might be difficult for parents to juggle things during this time. It can cause stress, lack of sleep, and many other issues for individuals that haven't previously experienced any mental health challenges. As it comes to children, if we're talking about school-age children who normally would get socialization this way with friends and teachers, or certainly those getting ready to graduate, they're obviously looking at a new set of circumstances. So while we do know that youth are more resilient than we give them credit for at times, depending on the age, it can put an undue stress on anyone, like we said, of any age.
What are some coping strategies that can help people deal with stress and anxiety while being quarantined?
Certainly people that have families can create family time. Something new, something creative. Certainly people can join an online support group. They can use social conferencing, chat rooms like Zoom or Skype. People that wouldn't normally have close families, the need to challenge ourselves at times to find new hobbies. For me to catch up on some needed home improvement that normally get avoided based on my busy schedule. It does, however, allow us to slow down and breathe. Our society is always on the go, so it's a good way to give us a gentle reminder to slow down. Taking a walk, taking a hike, meditating, certainly volunteering with a church group or food bank or community organization is a great thing to do right now to give back. In fact, I have one friend who works for an agency called Hope Through Housing, Lucia, that also helps low-income families by providing support, education, food, and other things to them. So again, there's so many things that we can do.
Great, thank you. Those were great coping strategies. Next. Adapting to these new changes can be particularly difficult for those who have mental health conditions. Do you have any tips or advice on how these individuals can adjust?
One of the things definitely is to stay in the here and now, to stay connected. I know that means so many things to so many different people, but whether the connection is with friends, families, county mental health folk, we call them peers, that we connect on a regular basis. Support groups are always available through organizations, local or national, like NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, AFSP, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. There's so many agencies out there that provide online support, along with 12-step programs like AA and NA and SMART programs. There are also a lot of chat lines available. NAMI has oktotalk.org, Operation Safe House here in the Valley, have an app called What's Up Safe House. On a more national level, there's something called 7 Cups, the number 7cups.com, where you have caring listeners that provide free mental health and emotional support. And our county here in Riverside also has a peer navigation line for support as well. This isn't to be instead of the suicide prevention hotline, but certainly the peer navigation line is kind of the first step towards receiving services or support.
How can individuals suffering from depression, anxiety, and other mental health conditions receive treatment from their mental health specialists or therapists?
Mental health specialists and therapists are doing online telehealth, telepsych. For those that don't normally receive them, that do need service, they can always call county or go down to one of the mental health urgent care facilities as well.
5. Is it advisable to visit loved ones to provide support for them? If not, how can family and friends help them deal with stress while they are apart?
Well, for some, this is a very touchy subject. Obviously, depending on the age of the family member, that might determine what's best for the family. Obviously, more regular phone calls and FaceTime along with Skype visits can be beneficial. In fact, for me, it's given me an opportunity to speak to cousins and relatives on the East Coast. I'm originally from Philadelphia, so it gives me an opportunity to speak to my family on the East Coast more. And they can also offer and exchange what coping skills and coping strategies work for each other, and maybe share what shows they can watch on Netflix.
Number 6. Being quarantined has led many to make unhealthy choices: diet, exercise, screen time, etc. How can we intercept these choices?
Well, as I said before, staying in the here and now is important for people, especially for those like myself who are dual diagnosed, have a dual diagnosis. My dual diagnosis isn't with drugs and alcohol. Mine is with an eating disorder, and what the definition includes is chronic exercise and chronic overeating, or it can suggest both. For me, I have gained weight during this time, but there are opportunities for people to still do online fitness groups.
How can one cope with increased feelings of loneliness and isolation due to social distancing?
Simply by people staying connected, creating awareness, being honest with ourselves and our loved ones, and just being supportive of each other, loving, kind. Look, we all as humans are going to get through this, and not to sound cliche, but we truly are in this together, and we certainly are better together than we are apart. So just the idea of staying connected and just trying to stay positive, because there's always going to be something.
That is very true. Positivity is the key. Moving on. What approach do you think we could take to ease anxiety that many in our community may get by misleading information posted on social media?
Well, social media is everywhere. I generally try not to watch too much news. I generally try to limit my social media time, because not that it creates anxiety for me, and I'm not normally a person that has too much anger, but to see so much discourse, to see so many people having so many different points of view, just creates undue stress. Whether we call it fake news, whether it's a political thing, whether we're talking about what news channel we're watching, it's all just undue stress. And again, if we just concentrate on the here and now, and maybe just trying to stay a little bit light, and just trying to create happiness and positive things, like where we can go to go hiking, or what conference that we can do, or how we can engage in FaceTime or Zoom conferencing and things like that.
Perfect. How can stress during this disease outbreak lead to the development or the worsening of health conditions and problems?
I would say simply just by not staying connected. So the opposite of everything that we're talking about, by staying isolated, by not going for a walk, by not exercising, by not using new coping skills. Because quite frankly, I think my biggest two were going to the gym and going to see a movie out at a theater. So those are two things that obviously aren't things that we can do during this time, but to create other things, like we can certainly do meditation, we can go for walks, we can go for a hike, we can play with our pets, our animals at home. So there's so many other things we can do to stay connected.
Very true. Are there any programs or online platforms that can help those experiencing stress, anxiety, and depression?
So I've certainly discussed some already. NAMI has online programs. Again, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, so it's NAMI.org or NAMI Coachella Valley.org in our area here. Certainly American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Certainly Riverside County has a website called eachmindmatters.org. They also have a Spanish part of their site called Santa Mente. So things are available in English and Spanish, all things, all resources. There are free trainings available. Some might not be online at this time. Some might be in the process of creating online trainings, which I know is happening. So I can't confirm which ones are coming online. I do know that NAMI is offering one called Peer Support Specialist Training, depending on the affiliate. They also have facilitation training programs available. So there's so many different opportunities for these online platforms. I mentioned on a more national basis, something called 7 Cups, the number 7, CUPS.com, as well as a resource that, while it's nationwide, in our local area, it is called CVHIP or Connect IE, which stands for either Coachella Valley Health Information Place or Connect Inland Empire, or simply on your smartphone as Aunt Bertha. I think the reasoning behind that is obviously the person creating this had an Aunt Bertha at one time that needed services, and they decided that they wanted to create a phone app. So all they literally have to do is go online on those sites, put in their zip code, and find a service, whether it's food, housing, legal, mental health, physical health, job training. Literally everything is at your fingertips.
Great, thank you for the detailed information, Keith. And thank you for taking time out of your busy day to interview with us.
Thank you for having me.